we found that the coronavirus had a very big impact on poor families, but the impact differs on where they live. So for instance, in Accra, in Ghana, many people have their own small businesses or they're entrepreneurs. And when they were locked in, when this lockdown of public life started, they were just not able to go out and generate income anymore. But in South Africa, it was a bit of a different situation because many people get grants from the government. So initially, at least, the major impact for them was fear of getting sick, fear for their families. They were very worried. Also, we saw that they were very worried about their financial situation. Actually, in general, we found that the South Africans had a very high levels of anxiety.
One really important lessons learned for policymakers is actually that the effectiveness of the government regulation is highly depending on the cooperation of the public. So for example, we see in case of South Africa, where there was one of the strictest lockdowns, that still 20% of the urban poor received visitors, which was not allowed at this time. So we can show that people who distrust the governments or are less informed were actually less likely to follow the measures. So it seems that it's important for policymakers to focus on better informing the population, both about COVID-19 and what are the reasons behind their actions, to improve the trust, but also the knowledge.
Despite many similarities, middle-income countries in sub-Saharan Africa, they both had lockdowns. We looked at urban poor communities in both countries. Despite all these similarities, we found that the impact was actually quite different. So it's difficult to say that governments should do this or that and that will work in any circumstances, but they should really take into consideration their own country's context and situation. To change people's behavior is very difficult, especially if they're confronted with a lot of obstacles like sharing toilets with their neighbors or having to cram into very crowded public transport, for instance. So this is our recommendation is also that government should try to, as Kathrin said, inform the public, get their trust and help with the needed infrastructure.